What's up everybody and Merry Christmas. Welcome back to the Riding Dad channel, or welcome if you are new. Chances are a lot of you here are probably somewhat new to the channel, so if you stick around to the end of the video, I'll explain everything I'm about and what you can look forward to on this channel. But first, let's roll the intro.
Riding Dad YouTube channel, it's the Riding Dad YouTube channel, it's the Riding Dad YouTube channel, it's the Riding Dad.
Alright, do me a favor, if you enjoyed that intro and you're new, please hit that thumbs up. What we are here to talk about is Christmas gifts. Alright, chances are, if you are somebody who rides motorcycles, you know a decent amount about them, and you know what somebody that you'd be shopping for with a motorcycle addiction, like myself, would want. Be it motorcycle stuff like parts and accessories, or tools and everything like that. So, if you are one of those people, I'd appreciate you sticking around and watching, but I think you know what you're doing in the gift department. So this video is going to be primarily for people that A, don't ride at all, have no clue about anything with motorcycles besides the fact that they have two wheels and they think they operate off gas, or B, if you are somebody that has a little bit of an idea about motorcycles, has a general idea, there's gonna be some other kind of gifts that you can get. I'm gonna do it in kind of different parts, no necessary order. I am gonna start with stuff that is made for the bike, and everything I'm going to tell you guys for a gift is something that I would enjoy getting. Most of it I already have. So I want you guys to take comfort knowing that this is something that a motorcyclist, a motorcycle enthusiast would enjoy getting, and I can guarantee if you stick around to the end of this video, you are gonna make somebody's Christmas very, very happy. It's going to show that you put a lot of thought into their gift. So here we go. Like I said, stuff for the bike. You see behind me, this is a Harley. It is known as a cruiser type. And then this is somewhat sporty. It's a Honda Grom, but it's really mostly just a street bike. Street and sport is a gigantic category, and then cruiser such as Harleys or even like a Kawasaki or a Yamaha, like a V-Star or something like that, Indian, stuff like that. Two different styles. All of these bike parts are going to be the same. It's just going to be bike specific. Something that I forgot to kind of mention a minute ago is obviously a gift card is an easy way to go. If you'd rather wash your hands of trying to pick and maybe he's not going to like this and everything like that, and you think a gift card is the safest bet, I don't think I need to explain to you how to get a gift card, but you might be in the boat of not knowing what site to get a gift card from. If the person has a Harley Davidson, Get Lowered Cycles is a fantastic gift card option. Speed Kings is a great gift card option. Those are both sites, Get Lowered more so, and then Revzilla is kind of a unanimous. They have most stuff for every kind of bike and every kind of brand, but those kind of companies are going to be mostly, if not only, Harley related, and they have a lot of different options, so it's not like you're locking them into just grips, just suspension, stuff like that. They can pick a wide variety of stuff that they would want to get from those sites, and then be it from Revzilla as well. And everything I talk about, for the most part, I will link down to the description. I'm not going to talk about some of the small stuff because it's like a no-brainer. You don't need a link to it. You can just find it wherever you go. So that'll all be linked in the description, those websites as well. Yeah, so Harley stuff, and then if they have, let's say they have a Honda Grom, Steady Garage is an absolutely great website specifically for bikes like the Honda Grom, the Honda Monkey, and stuff like that. Revzilla is another go-to. Forgive me, I don't know too many specific sites that are good that I would say go to get a gift card for like street bikes and stuff like that. I'd say Revzilla is probably your best bet, at least that I know of in that department. Dennis Kirk is also really good. Revzilla just happens to have a great shipping department. They ship everything I've ever ordered from them, ships super quick, and they just have a great return policy as well. Something to note, Revzilla as well, I think Dennis Kirk sells some stuff, but Revzilla also has riding gear. So this is something you really have to know the person very well to get for them, and if they even want it. But pants, riding boots, gloves, helmets, anything like that. That kind of stuff tends to be a really kind of personal thing. It's oftentimes better to get a fit for it. So I know like there's a lot of shops for cycle gear. My understanding, cycle gear and Revzilla work together. So if you can get like a cycle gear gift card that you have a cycle gear local to you, they can go try on some jackets, pants, boots, or whatever like that. That'd be a great option as far as riding gear. Otherwise, I would probably tend to try to stay away from riding gear unless you're absolutely certain about something. Like if somebody's been like, hey, look at this picture of this, I really want this thing, and this is exactly what I want, this exact size, this exact color, and everything like that. That's a different story. Then you don't need my help to begin with. Okay, so bike specific stuff. You have a new exhaust, you have a new air filter, you have a new seat, you have new lights, stuff like that. All of that is going to be bike specific. You could just basically find out exactly what bike they have, go to most of these sites, type in the year, even if they don't have a drop-down menu like Revzilla and stuff does, type in the, or call customer service or send them an email or whatever, like, hey, I have, my significant other, family member, whatever's got this and this bike, year, make, model, and I'm looking for options for exhaust. I'm looking for options for air cleaners, stuff like that. So this is something you're gonna have to know the person a little bit more to get, because you're gonna have to know their style preference for exhaust. You're gonna have to know their style preference for what they wanna do long-term for their bike build, but it's a super good option if you know the person well enough to do this kind of gift. It's also a relatively expensive gift, because you're looking at, for Harley stuff, maybe an exhaust around, I'd say bottom dollar around $600, all the way up to around $2,000, depending on where you get. On the other hand, something small like the Honda Grom, you can have some actual decent budget options for under $100 that, even though they're no-name brands, they have really good reputations. A lot of people love them. And then you can also have stuff upwards of the $700 and $800 range. So all that kind of stuff is really big. And if you're gonna do something for the bike, you probably are gonna need to know at least a little bit about motorcycles, or like I said, have a list of, somebody gives you a list of what they want to kind of work off of, because things can really go south if you have no idea what you're doing with that kind of stuff. So if you have any kind of motorcycle knowledge and knowledge about what the person you're buying for wants ultimately as an end game for their bike build, great option. The other thing about bikes is you can do like a big bore kit, which is basically just a bigger part of an engine that adds space to make the engine basically bigger. You could do something like that. You can go as in-depth as a cam chest kit. All stuff I would highly recommend for you to stay away from if you don't know that much about bikes, and especially if you're not super in tune with the person you're buying it for, because one wrong part, most of the stuff is non-returnable, and then the whole bike build is off, and either you wasted money or the other person has a bike build that they don't want for what they want to do with that bike anymore. So moving on, you got the bike specific stuff. Like I said, the seats, exhaust, air cleaners, possibly a tuner, all that kind of stuff you'd have to have some kind of knowledge for. The other stuff for the bike, you're not gonna have to have any knowledge about at all, because I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know right now. The biggest part for what I'm gonna talk about now is whether the bike is driven by a chain, a belt, or a shaft. And that is super easy to tell. You just look at whatever bike your person has that you're shopping for, and if it has a chain going to the back wheel like this, then it is chain driven. If it has a belt like this, then it's belt driven. If you see neither of those, then high chances are that it is shaft driven. If your person has a shaft or a belt driven bike, this segment is not for you, because this is all about chain maintenance. So for those of you who don't know anything about chain maintenance, you're gonna need some sort of brush to get all the crud and crap, dirt, everything off of, and you're gonna need a cleaner / lubricant. I happen to like the Motovlog brand, and I'm sure someone's gonna comment saying that I'm butchering that name, but that's how I've always pronounced it. I use them for oil, I've used them for chain cleaners back when I had my first bike and everything. This specifically is chain lube. I got this from Revzilla. I know Amazon has it. Local bike shops will usually stock it. They have kits of chain cleaners, waxes, lubricants, all that kind of stuff. The only thing you can screw up here, and it's not even that bad, is if you get road or off-road. You'll see this says road on it. So whatever application your person is riding, whether it's like a dual sport or they're riding off-road a lot, or say they have a dirt bike, something like that, you'll obviously want to get the off-road specific lubricant. And if they're riding on the road like me, you'll want to get the road lubricant. Brush, pretty self-explanatory. Google motorcycle chain brush. I'm pretty sure you'll find a million from a million different sites. You'll want to get one that has at least 2 different signs like this being longer on this side to get into crevices and stuff, and then this being a 3-directional brush, that way you can just run the chain along it. And I also want to take a second to tell you guys, this is by far not a all-inclusive list. There are many different options out there. These are just some that I figured I'd put together for a quick little video to try to help somebody that is shopping for somebody with a motorcycle love, such as myself. Everything I'm going to show you is useful, good. Some of the stuff the person can have theoretically for a lifetime. Some of the stuff, like this lube, obviously they will not have for a lifetime. Another kind of cool thing that has nothing to do with maintenance or care for the bike, if you are able, and this is probably more Harley specific, but they do make some, Yamaha and Hondas and stuff like that. If you're able to find a miniature version of your actual person's bike, that's a great, cool gift. I've been looking for miniature versions of my specific bikes, and I've never found one yet. But that's something really cool they can put up in. If they have an office, they can put it up there. If they have a garage workshop or a bench or something like that, even in the room, wherever they are, a miniature version of their exact bike. Kudos, extra points if you can get the exact color and everything scheme of their bike too. That's really awesome. But even just the exact model, it's very cool to have a mini model of the bike that you ride. Something that might actually benefit you in the long run too, depending on what you have, is a tire pressure gauge. For those of you who don't know anything about motorcycles, tire pressure on a motorcycle is even more crucial than tire pressure in a car. I think you can put 2 and 2 together on why that would be. And you can kind of go real basic all the way up to somewhat expensive with this. So real basic being, I think I got this, and this was highly rated, maybe $2 or $3 on Amazon. Old school. I like this because if you have a saddlebag or a tank bag or anything like that, something that's on your bike or even like a little area under the seat, you could put this puppy under there or in wherever that crevice is and never worry about replacing a battery or anything like that. The negative to this is you can't get as precise readings as you could with a digital one, which I'm about to show you, but it's super cheap. Forever you can have this. Don't need any batteries, so it's obviously low maintenance. And if your person does not have a tire gauge, something they definitely need. It'll keep them safe. You can also get a digital one. This is a Husky brand, which is Home Depot's. You can get them at Home Depot, Walmart, whatever. See digital, lights up, PSI, bar, and KPA. Different options, and it's an auto shutoff. And then somewhat on the higher end, being still only like $10 or whatever, is this one from Slime. They make a lot of bicycle stuff. You can see it's digital as well. Something different about this, it has a rubber exterior, which is obviously going to help it if you're dropping it or putting it in a saddlebag or something like that. Won't eat up your interior of your bag. And then it also has this little air release valve, which makes it a lot easier when you're checking pressure. Say you have to be at 30 PSI or bar or KPA, depending on where you're at that's watching this. Say you have to be at 30 and you're at 32, instead of taking it off and half doing it like the old school ways, you can just keep it on, do this a little bit, bleed the air until it comes down to 30, and then you are good. And this has an auto shut off as well, but you can shut that off manually. Another thing to note, depending on what kind of application your person has for their motorcycle tire, you might want to get them something like this. This is basically just an adapter, because depending on where your tire and wheel sits with your brake discs or other various options that your bike has, say if you have a big old bike with some saddlebags on it, might be really hard to get there. It's basically just an extension that's obviously soft and pliable. You screw this part onto your actual tire valve. This part kind of just hangs out, snakes wherever you need it, and then you can check the tire pressure of this. Super easy, super cheap. This is something I keep. You can screw it into itself like a circle. I keep this in my little handlebar bag. Call it a day, keep it there for emergencies. One last gift relating to tires is going to be an air compressor. This is a multifunctional thing. Theoretically, you can have for close to your lifetime, depending on how much quality you buy up front and how well your person takes care of it. But an air compressor, keep it in the garage, is going to be an amazing benefit. You can blow air if you need to clean something. You can blow air up your shirt if it's super hot like it is in Florida. I do that all the time when it's hot and I feel like I'm dying. Or you can inflate tires. Multi-use piece of equipment, great to have in the garage, ranges from super cheap to super expensive, super small to super big. You be the judge on that. I have an 18-gallon one, works perfect for me. Now say your person has an unfortunate housing arrangement where they have a motorcycle and they do not have a garage or covered area to keep the bike in. That sucks. As a motorcycle owner, that really sucks. But one of the things you can do to make it better is get a motorcycle cover. Now, believe it or not, Discount Ramps, I know it doesn't sound like they're gonna have motorcycle covers, but Discount Ramps has a variety of sizes, styles, pretty cheap, and they regularly have sales. I've gotten a million emails from them. I got my ramps from them and this motorcycle cover from them as well. It works really well. It's easy to use. They have a bunch of different ones, bunch of different styles. If you are doubtful about what size you are going to need, I'm sure if you shoot them an email or a phone call, somebody will be able to help you out, or Google can always tell you the answer to almost everything you need. All right, now we're kind of away from bike care and maintenance, kind of stuff like that. Now let's talk about what if your person wants to do stuff to their bike, but they don't have any tools, or they have some tools, but you can never have enough tools, trust me. So one of the things you can get is a tool chest, be it a portable, somewhat decent size, tool caddy, a toolbox, or one of the nice ones that roll like a cart, or one of the ones that sit against the wall with the trays. These range, again, if you get a handheld one, you're gonna look at maybe 30, 40 bucks. I'd say for like a low to medium grade one, probably up to about 100 depending on which one you get. And then if you get one of the ones that are in the garage, the sky is the limit. I mean, you can get real tall ones, but stackable ones with outlets on them, ones with wheels, ones without wheels, ones with different inserts in them and everything. But generally, you can pretty much go to any hardware store and get a feel for what there is, get a feel for the prices. I'm gonna say you're probably looking at a $300 to $500 minimum for like a decent sized one, and maybe $200 to $300 for like a somewhat small one. Those are just the prices that are local to me. If your person has a bunch of tools already, something like that is gonna make a world of difference. They're gonna be able to put all their tools in there. It's gonna look nice. It's a place to put some stickers from companies you like. It's a place to put a picture of you two, depending on what your relationship is to this person that's getting the gift from you. So toolbox, really good idea. Also kind of pricey though. Something on the smaller end is tools. Now I'm not gonna get too in depth with this because there's a million different tools. I'm just gonna name a couple that I think would benefit somebody that's wanting to get into work or maybe has some tools, but you could always benefit from better tools and a complete sets of tools. First, you're gonna need to know what kind of tools your person is gonna need. And this is gonna be very simple. I'm not 100% sure on the Indian brand, so you'll have to Google that. That's for whatever reason the only one that I can't remember right now. But if they ride a Harley Davidson, for sure, you are going to need to get SAE or standard tools. That's gonna be for sockets, wrenches, and Allens. Now, if they ride a Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, any other bike pretty much, with the exception of, like I said, Indian, I can't remember right now if they use metric or SAE. But if they're gonna ride anything besides a Harley, pretty much, you're looking at metric. Metric and SAE, or standard, depending on what. Those are the two different ones you're gonna be looking for. So something that I just recently picked up for myself a while ago when I got this Honda, having all standard equipment, I needed to get some metric equipment. I picked up this from the Ace Hardware. It's a pretty good brand. Something like this, a complete set. It may not fill the void completely, but I tell you what, it is gonna help them do a lot of their own stuff. You can get a socket wrench set that comes with a whole bunch of stuff, or you can get one of those gigantic sets that have metric and SAE, but again, we're looking at more pricey options. So whatever you're in the mood to do in your situation. The other thing that a lot of people probably don't know about is sometimes you're gonna have to, or at least it benefits you to use what's called impact wrenches, or even like a hammer drill or something like that. And basically all that means is that there's more force exerting on the bit in a little bit of a different way than your typical power drill. So something that most people do not have is impact ready bits. An easy way to tell them apart, for the most part, is they are going to be black. Standard bits are gonna be like that gunmetal, grayish silver color. Impact bits, and they have this in hexes, they have this in sockets, they have this in bits like this. Pretty much every time it's black, it's going to be an impact ready. Just make sure you read it, but a small little set like this has some what they call Torx bolts, really helps for working on the Harley. Has some small common SAE sockets, has an adapter to use with some socket sets, and some different Phillips and flathead bits. Something like this, pretty cheap, especially now. Everyone's still having Black Friday sales going on because of the COVID thing, so something like this is super cheap. Nice addition, definitely gonna benefit them in the long run. And that's gonna do it for this video. Like I said, this is only scratching the surface of everything you can buy for a motorcyclist, whether they are just an enthusiast for motorcycles or they actually like wrenching and doing stuff for their own motorcycles, like a at-home DIY mechanic. Something I did forget to mention is clothing stuff. Clothing, apparel, depending on how much the person likes the brand, if they're a die-hard brand fan of whatever they got, clothing and apparel is always cool because motorcycle guys, and I think car guys are probably the same, we always like to rep brands of either tools or cars and motorcycles, stuff like that. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Like I said in the beginning, this is the Riding Dad channel. I'm a dad. My name is Chris. I have this small little Honda Grom, and I have this M8 Softail Lowrider S. I do post a lot of build videos with either the Honda or the Harley. I might have some more bikes to come in the future. Who knows what we're gonna do for the Riding Dad channel. The sky is the limit. And I hope this video either entertained you or you actually got something out of it if you're really looking to shop for somebody. Before I go, I just want to say that Christmas is not about gifts. So regardless of what you get, if you're buying it for the right person, they're going to appreciate it and love it no matter what it is. So until next time, guys, ride safe, have fun, Merry Christmas, Dad out.